I'm Intruder Green. You might know me from things like Highfield Festival, Airbrack Abbey, and Bumble. Welcome to the Intruder Green podcast. We got a nice, interesting episode today. It's a little spicy. We're mixing it up with our buddy, buddy Matthew Hendershot, who does another podcast called I'll Take a Shot at That. And we're doing like a little crossover thing, like the Avengers. So I got to do his podcast, and he did the Intruder Green podcast. And Matthew is basically like I don't know what to call him exactly. Almost like a co-producer, but he doesn't like take credit for that because he probably doesn't want to put his name on such a inferior product as the Intruder Green podcast. But we're getting better, and he's like kind of like my podcast guru. He's like, hey, don't do that. And then I'm like, but I think it's good that way. And he's like, yeah, well, you're wrong. And I'm like, well, I already did it, so that's the way it is. And he's like, well, fine, maybe try better next time. And eventually I do, because I realize he's right. But yeah, he's gonna be helping me set up some nice things for the future, as far as making this whole thing sound better. And he's also going to be going on tour with Masked Intruder as our photographer and videographer. So yeah, if you see, I don't know if he's going to be like incognito or what when he's at the shows with us in Europe. But you might see him like taking pictures and stuff on stage when all the other photographers get their photo pass and they can only take pictures for like the first 3 songs or whatever. I don't know why they do that. That's a weird thing, but I get it too, because sometimes they get in the way, and then I'm all like, hey, I want to like wave my butt in front of some people, and there's a photographer in the way. But there's also like security guards always in the way too, so maybe it don't matter. I don't know. But anyway, I got to give a shout out to the patrons of the great Patreon supporting the podcast. We got Elizabeth Bernards, John Nicholas, James, Michael, Lamar, Irving, Edward, Donald, Calvin, McGolder's son. Did I do son already? We're going to roll with that for now. Heather Royston, Vaughn Cotton, Chelsea McNally, Carlos Hernandez, Luke Ellis, and Jared Estep. Thank you guys so much. Thanks for everybody who gives me some money on a Patreon, makes this all possible, really. Like I always say, podcasting isn't super expensive, but it does take a lot of time, and it does cost some money for just, what do you call it? The hosting. Like you got to pay a host to be a good host on the internet and stuff like that. And like I also am saying, like I really want to invest eventually in some better gear. Looking into that right now. So maybe within the next month or so, we'll have something better sounding stuff for you guys. And I gotta say, we did this one at Matthew's studio, so it's probably the best sounding episode we got so far. I hope you enjoy it based on that. If you want to become if you want to get on a Patreon, it's just patreon.com/intrudergreen. And if you don't know what Patreon is, I'm sure most people at this point, if you're listening to a podcast, you probably know, but it's basically just a website that lets you set up donations. It's they keep it nice and safe, so your credit card information ain't gonna like leak out to nobody like Sony or something. But yeah, then you can you can sign up for like $1 or like way more than that if you want. And yeah, I got little tiers set up so you can like be like, hey, have Intruder Green sing my birthday song or something. And also, yeah, I'm trying to work on some new things there. If you can't do that, maybe hit me up on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. It's all just at Intruder Green. And what else do I got? Oh, we got the call-in line. Please hit me up on the call-in line. I miss hearing you guys' voices. And bring up some interesting topics for me to talk about instead of me just babbling on about, my technology woes and all that. You can hit me up at 608-535-9608. That's the Intruder Green call-in line. You can leave a message, and I'll put it on the show. Or if you ask me specifically not to, but you just wanted to say hi or bring up something for me to talk about, then I will just talk about it and not put your voice on. Because I know some people are sensitive or whatever. So, Anyway, like I said, Matthew Hendershot, his podcast is called "I'll Take a Shot at That," as well as he works on this other one about marijuana. We talk about that in the show. It's called "Brave New Weed." They're both real good. You should check them out. And yeah, without further ado, on with the show.
Hello, this is a prepaid collect call from
Intruder Green,
an inmate at the Durham Correctional Institution. This call is subject to recording and monitoring. To accept charges, press 1.
Come on, girl, now it's time to go to a place where nobody goes. In another time, on the other side of space, it won't be the same. Unlock and go where party goes. Unlock and go where party goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, Matthew Hendershot on the Intruder Green podcast. Hi, how you doing, buddy?
That's also hi and how I'm doing.
Yeah, that's right. I will have to say, those of you who don't know, Matthew has been helping me out with the podcast for a long time now. He's my caterer, and I'm real hungry all the time, so it's real helpful.
I can't cook enough.
Yeah, that's right. He's teaching me how to cook, actually. He's done a little bit of that.
That is true.
And we're trying to film some cooking shows together because you're real good with the cameras and stuff and technology and all that.
Appreciate
I ain't too good with the technology, but I know like when to strike, like when to use technology to like, you know, hey, you got to crack a safe? I don't know how to do it, but I know where a safe is. All
this
right.
calls for science.
That's right. And then, so you're my science guy. This is the way that things work. It's you know, we're giving people a little one-on-one in the criminal background, whatever.
Well, I mean, come on. Everybody's seen John Wick, right? Like he's got a
That's
doctor,
right.
he's got a tech guy, he's got
I did see that movie.
Yeah, I mean.
Does he have all those?
Yeah.
I didn't remember that.
Oh, like there's the doctor. I mean, well, maybe across all the.
Oh, I never saw the second and third one. I need to because they're real good movies. Yeah, they're real good. I saw him shoot a bunch of guys. It looked real cool.
Yeah. So I imagine then you've seen like The Raid.
No, I never saw The Raid.
Oh.
That looks amazing too.
Yeah. I mean, if you like John Wick, you'll love The Raid.
Oh yeah, it's the same kind of deal.
Like and then some.
Oh right. That sounds great.
Yeah, it's a pretty interesting movie.
I love it.
Yeah.
I want to see it. I want to see them all. I love movies, and especially if there's lots of like action and violence and crime.
Yeah, well, The Raid, would
especially
fall.
like people getting away with crimes, because it makes me like, oh, that's inspiring. I love that word, inspiring. We keep talking about that. So Matthew,
You've been inspired a lot tonight.
I have been. Yeah. We're doing a back-to-back thing here. I just did your podcast,
That's
which
right.
is called
I'll Take a Shot at That.
All right. What's I'll Take a Shot at That all about?
Yeah. So I have for 8 months now. I guess it's close to 8 months.
Holy shit!
Right? I know. I feel the same way.
You've been doing the podcast for 8 months?
No, I've been living in Leipzig.
Oh, okay.
For 8 months. So I moved here in October of 2018. Yes.
All right. Yeah, because it's 2019 now.
That's correct.
I understand how these things can be confusing.
Woo! Yeah, so that's like 8 months.
Mhm.
And as part of coming over here, one of the things that I wanted to challenge myself to do was to create a podcast that could be a document of my experience of meeting people, doing things, trying stuff, learning.
Oh yeah.
How to do this stuff.
Yeah.
And how to just like reacclimate to a new place.
Oh yeah.
Because-
Reacclimating is difficult.
Yeah, recombobulating.
Recombobulating.
Yeah,
whatever
when
you
get
want
all
to call it.
discombobulated and then
Yeah.
you recombobulate.
You got to combobulate yourself. And, sometimes you end up, you go to prison or something, you end up in there, and it ain't too cool. But you know how that works. And then you get out into the world, and especially with the way technology works these days, you get going away, and you come back, and it's like, holy shit, they got like flip phones now. Fucking, what the hell is that? I gotta go make a drug deal. Where's my payphone? Oh, they're all gone. Everybody's got cell phones now. Like, what?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a true story to somebody that happened once.
You're probably correct.
Yeah, I believe it to be true.
That's all you need, I guess.
Yeah. So this podcast is all about your journey into like kind of just figuring shit out.
I mean, it's not like I wouldn't ever claim it to be like an instruction manual because that doesn't make sense, but it's just what I'm going through. And
like it's an instruction manual written by someone who's like
learning it
figuring out how to build a thing.
No, it's just like it's what I'm going through.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be as honest as I can be about experience that I'm having. I got a couple of great guys, Jake and Justin, that are on the show that just they have their own strong points of view. They are intelligent and informative, and it's a pleasure to be able to tell my story and then also collect the perspectives along with it from the guests that we have on for the two wonderful co-hosts, and we share it with people as best we can and as honestly as we can, and we try and have a lot of fun because we joke around and we drink too much.
Oh yeah, that's right. You guys do drink. It's called I'll Take a Shot at That, right? So you guys do shots.
Yeah, so there's a few staged situations where at the start of the show we all take a shot of booze, and then we look for opportunities to take additional shots of booze, and people are welcome to take as many shots of booze as they would like. And we kind of play at it as a joke that it lubricates the conversation.
Oh yeah, and it certainly does. Yeah, I believe that to be true. I've done plenty of podcasts myself, and I'm like, oh yeah, it'd be real good if we were both a little bit drunk, or not drunk, but basically, well, yeah, drunk.
Yeah, to the point of where you're not like censoring yourself exactly, or you're able to not overthink but not underthink.
Yeah, that's right. Don't think. That's the key.
No, think perfectly.
Yeah. And apparently booze leads to that. Perfect thinking.
Well, yeah, there's a sine wave, right? Like you got to get a little bit drunk, and then you got to chill for a bit so that you dip below the line.
This is why you're my podcast
beer,
guru.
And then you sort of like flow.
Yeah.
Where if you just have too much, then you just cliff and you're done.
Oh yeah, I think somebody said something about that with bowling once. It's like when you go bowling, you get you 2 drinks or 3 drinks. It depends on a person. But sometimes you'll have your warm-up game, and then you'll like bowl 2 amazing games, and you're like riding the crest of glory of drinks. And then you have like 1 too many, and suddenly you just suck at bowling.
Yeah, I think that's probably true of things much more complicated than bowling.
Yeah, but bowling's a good like
it is, you're right.
It's a good whatever you control.
Baseline, yeah.
Yeah. It's a good thing to base everything on, bowling.
Yeah, you're exactly right.
Yeah, I think the Coen brothers made a movie about that. Yeah, they did. The Big Lebowski. It was all about bowling.
Ah,
yeah, that's right. I think that was a line from the movie.
There is a lot of bowling in that movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fuck it, dude. Let's go bowling. That's what they say.
Sure.
I believe it to be true. So that's real good. You got I'll Take a Shot at That podcast. But you've been like, you're like, I tell people you're my podcast guru. You kind of been like, show me the ropes. And I'm sorry because I'm a real shitty learner.
No, you're doing great.
Oh yeah, thank you. I blame
I'm pretty sure the Intruder Green podcast is more popular than I'll Take a Shot at That.
Well, that might be true, but the thing is
changing right now.
That's right. Yeah. Nobody knows because, like nobody gets to see our numbers. That's the way we like it. But you've been in the podcast game for a while, and you also do a podcast about weed, which to me is like real cool because
first of all, it's still technically illegal in a lot of places, which is
Mhm.
cool. I mean, in a way, it's not cool because you want something that's cool to be. Oh, I don't know. I'm having a conundrum now. It's like you want it to be cool because it's cool, but it's not cool, but you like it, so it's cool.
Yes.
Yeah. But being illegal is kind of cool. It makes things edgy. That's the word I'm looking for.
All
Edgy.
right. That's interesting.
Yeah. Like
No,
you get to
you are not the first person to suggest this thing. The reason why that cannabis is so exciting, especially to young people, is because it's illegal. And
Oh, yeah.
so it's like a micro rebellion. And it's actually a really safe
That's
micro
right.
rebellion
It's
because it's
probably
not
better
really
than
going to hurt you. I mean,
Yeah.
there are things that you have to be concerned about because under the age of 25, maybe your brain is still developing and
Sure.
sorry, I just got super nerdy about uh
Oh, that's okay.
cannabis and this.
You should get nerdy about cannabis because most people don't. And but that's like part of what like you're into. Like the cannabis
Yeah.
culture and all that.
Well, and it's about understanding it in a way that is in the way that we interact with alcohol, right?
Yeah.
So, when we go on I'll take a shot at that. We do shots. But we understand that, like, okay, if we do 3 shots or 4 shots,
Yeah.
it's probably enough, and
Sure.
then we can stop. And as people, we don't understand how to do this with cannabis yet because we don't know how to interact with it because it's been prohibited for so long that
Oh,
there's
yeah.
there's no labeling, there's no instructions, there's
Right.
no,
So
like I can look at my beer and it says that it's 5.2%.
Right. So but when you get your hands on some good weed, you're like, holy shit, we got this good ass weed. Let's smoke the shit out of it
Well,
and
and then
get
you do too
fucking
much.
ripped. Yeah.
Yeah, and you just do too much. Your body has a limited capacity for these kind of things.
Yeah.
And you will just, get too high and you
Yeah.
can get sick. It can make people
Sure.
nauseous.
Sure.
And honestly, the amount that you need is so small.
Really?
Yeah, like you take some dry herb
Mm-hmm.
about the size of like a penny,
A penny.
a penny,
Like is
like a 1 euro cent or an American penny, just like a small little amount, like
Yeah.
not a huge joint worth or whatever, just like a small penny-sized amount in the palm of
Sure.
your hand.
Yeah, I guess I can think about what you're saying.
And that's probably a safe baseline for where to start.
Yeah.
And then you try that
Oh yeah.
and then just wait and see what happens.
Yeah.
And you don't have to like be the one that needs to get higher and higher and higher. It's like, does it change the way you feel? Do you feel better? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Go with that.
Sure. But then like what if you are like, oh, but what if I want to feel even better than that?
Well, there's going to be a point of diminishing returns, just like drinking alcohol.
Oh
right?
yeah, that's like the stock market.
Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, yeah. If you go the problem is like if you don't have the patience to give yourself an assessment of how do I feel about what I've consumed,
Yeah.
then you don't learn how your body interacts with the plant.
Sure.
So as long as you can start slow and not like overdose yourself to the point where you're just too high to function, you wake up the next day, you feel fine because there's not really, maybe you're a little groggy from a hangover or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you can just smoke yourself to sleep night after night after night. But are you getting anything out of that experience?
Yeah, I know people who do that with booze, like
Exactly. It's the
you just
exact
drink
same thing.
yourself to sleep every night and yeah, but are you really sleeping? I mean, you are
No,
sleeping,
you just
but
pass out.
how good is that sleep? Yeah, I hear what you're saying. And but so that's like the new thing that people need to learn, right? It's like now that weed has become illegal so much, it's like I feel like people for the most part are still going crazy with it.
Well, let me ask you about the first time you got drunk.
Oh yeah. All
And
right.
what
You
was
could
it-
ask. I don't know if I remember, but
Tell me about the first time you got drunk.
oh
I mean drunk.
oh, I don't know. I remember something along the variety of peach flavored
Oh.
something or other, and it was delicious. And then the next day, I smelled egg, and I wanted to puke all over the place. And I may have actually done that. I'm not technically sure, but yeah, it could have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, delicious peach schnapps.
The first time I really got drunk, I had to dig my retainer out of a toilet after I had got.
Yeah, I would have just let that go.
Hey, man, 14 years old. That's a lot of money sitting in the bottom of that toilet. You got to deal with that.
That's true.
And what are you going to do? Let mom and dad know that you threw a party while they were gone and got way too drunk and
Oh yeah, I don't know.
puked in the bathroom?
You couldn't just be like, "Hey, mom and dad."
Hi, mom and dad.
Well, just be like, "Hey, I feel real sick. I don't know what's wrong." And then they'd be like, "Well, did you throw a party?" Or like, "Have you been drinking?" They'd be like,
No.
"Well, yeah. I mean, I'm always drinking. I'm always drinking something. You know, I drink gin. I drink water. Don't start with the gin.
Yeah.
Don't lead with that. But you lead with like, I drink water. I drink juice. I drink milk. Especially with like my Cheerios in the morning.
Shit.
I gotta. Oh, you're fucking shit up. I drink all these liquids, and you know, like yeah, sometimes there's booze too. Are you trying to tell me I drank too much booze, mom and dad? You tell them that, and then they'll be like, yes, son or daughter, we're telling you that, and they'll be like, oh shit, I didn't know that was the thing I shouldn't
Just
do.
play it off.
Yeah, just
you're
be
a
like,
kid.
I'm sorry, mom and dad. I didn't know that was a bad idea. Apparently, maybe someone should have told me that earlier, mom and dad. And then they fucking start feeling guilty, and you're like, yeah, fucking, I had won this battle. All right. Same thing with weed, right? If you were like younger,
Yeah, maybe.
smoking weed, you'd be like, yeah, I smoke all sorts of things. No, that don't work too good. Because they probably don't want you smoking cigarettes either.
Nah.
They'd be like, I breathe air and I breathe, you know, like helium at birthday parties.
As a joke, right?
Yeah,
Because it makes your voice all high.
that's right.
Yeah.
And then sometimes I make the rest of myself high with some weed. All right. I don't know where we were going. Talking about weed and the culture of it lately with people, you know, now that it's legal. Yeah. What do you think? Do people abusing it too much, or is the culture starting to change?
I think that, I mean, obviously culture is changing and, you know, we're recognizing that there are people who can use this plant as a helpful substance.
Yeah.
And it's very useful for many, many things. And it's very enjoyable for many, many things. And, but you can't just charge into it like a rhinoceros. It's like, ah, and just
Yeah, that sounds good.
blow your brains out, right?
Well, don't do that under
I
any
mean, but
circumstance.
that's basically, you know, if you overdo it, you're overdoing it, and
Yeah.
the it's just about what you want to get out of it and what your purpose is. Because like any drug, if you're using it as a tool for a different purpose, like you know, burying, thinking about important things, or
Sure, yeah. You're like you know, they call that self-medicating, right?
sure,
That's like what people say, but it's like that's not the I don't know. I feel like that's a bad term for that because like yeah, fucking you could self-medicate like
it is
being-
a bad term. You're correct.
being in a band and like doing something like that is kind of self-medicating because you're like I don't think I could be happy if I don't fucking do something creative with like people that I care about and like do that as much as I can. And so like you're self-medicating, you know, like but it's a different thing than self-medicating with like actual like you know what do you call it? Stuff that messes with your brain and your body,
Mm.
you know?
I guess the best way to put it is I just think that everybody should have a proper understanding of the amount and doses
Yeah.
that are necessary to accomplish your goal.
Sure.
because I really think that a lot of people are just doing.
Oh yeah. I'm sure I'm not sure it's true. I believe it to be true, especially in the States, because that's kind of like what we do in America. It's like, oh, you like that thing? We're going to do it 10 times more.
Yeah, you don't need a 3-foot bong rip
Yeah.
to be satisfied.
I mean-
Okay, and it's not to say that that's not fun. Sometimes.
Right. Sometimes you just got to try it, but like, don't make it a lifestyle.
Right.
I mean, you could make it a lifestyle too. And if that works, then
If it works.
I don't know. You fucking you figured out the Rubik's Cube that I could never solve.
You know, people's bodies are unique unto themselves, and everybody is different. And there may be people out there
Yeah.
who can do that and function and live their lives fine. I personally know where my relationship lies and what I can do and what I can't. And I think that that's an important balance that anyone needs to have.
And those people are definitely like they're what do you call it? The fucking thing that proves the rule wrong or whatever.
The exception to the rule?
That's the one. That's it. That's right.
Of course.
The exception to the rule. Or the exception proves the rule. That's what they always say.
But if you haven't done it and you're looking to have an experience, just start small and figure out how your body reacts, and don't do anything stupid right off the bat.
Yeah, that's right. And stay in school. But don't do,
do drugs and stay in school.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Don't do drugs.
Or probably don't do either. Whatever.
No.
But is
oh shit.
Is weed a drug though?
Here goes Mike.
It's okay. Nobody's listening. It's all good. So yeah, that's another thing though. It's like, is weed a drug?
Well, yeah, weed's a drug.
Yeah.
But alcohol is a drug.
Yeah, well, of course, alcohol is a drug. But
nicotine is a drug.
Yeah.
These are all.
Yeah, it's just weird to think about, like, how you could go out in a field and find some weed growing and like eat it and get high.
You can also go out into a field and find a weed growing and eat it and die.
Oh yeah.
I mean, those weeds also exist. We don't make, milk thistle illegal, but if you eat it over and over, it will kill you.
That's true. All right. Point taken. I don't know what the point was, but basically, don't ever ingest anything unless you're prepared to die. Yeah, that's a good rule.
No. That's not the rule. The rule is don't ingest anything if you can look at it and think to yourself, is this going to kill me?
Oh, yeah, that's a good rule.
If you look at something and you say, if I do this, is this going to kill me? If the answer is possibly yes, you probably shouldn't do it. You can choose to do it, and it might be really fun.
I've definitely done that a lot with things. I mean, you never fucking know. I remember drinking Huber beers back in the day, and they always had glass inside them, and I was like, holy shit, people probably shouldn't be drinking this. They could fucking die. But we still drank it because it was free.
Yeah, and that's pretty low level.
Yeah.
As far as things you can do that could kill you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's... If you think it might kill you, don't do that.
Yeah.
Unless you're just all in.
Unless you just need to live a little. Yeah. Or die a little.
And then it's your call.
Yeah. But don't die a lot. I mean, some people want to die a lot, and that's sad. But you should I encourage everyone to figure out a reason or a way to keep living. Except for Donald Trump. You got a way to open his beer?
Yeah, let me hear here. There's a letter here.
Oh, cool. How far in are we?
I don't know. 30.
Oh yeah, that's a good time to start doing these. No, wait, we still want to talk about your career with the weed podcast. We pretty much covered it, but I don't know. Can you talk about like how you got started with the whole
Yeah, sure.
weed podcast?
Yeah.
Because I'm really interested in that. Because I listen to it a lot, and I think
So-
weed is real cool because it's green, and I'm green, and it's a cool drug, I guess.
Yeah. So I through another job that I was doing,
Mhm.
got introduced to a man named Joe Dolce. Joel
Yeah.
Dolce is an author. He wrote a book called Brave New Weed, which is also the name of the podcast. And he came in to give a lecture that I was part and parcel to producing, and also dealing with the video editing and publication of this thing.
Cool.
And it was about his book, and he talked about cannabis. And the framing was this oncoming world of legal cannabis, right?
Oh,
We're
yeah.
not talking about black market stuff. We're not talking about just like weed culture, hippie stoner stuff. It's about these are the real things that are coming. So on the show, so I met him, and I said, "Listen, I don't know, what your next steps are or anything like that, but I would like to work with you because I also have an interest in this topic, and I think we should start with a podcast."
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting. There's a lot of conversations going on about podcasts right now.
Yeah.
They're kind of popular. It's the second sort of bump for podcasts. People are moving towards a bit of a longer form of entertainment. So like 45 minutes is now not too long, where for a long time we got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
Now we can get a little bit longer and longer and longer. We can have real conversations.
So that's the trend, is to get longer.
It seems to be, at least in some facets of, the pop. It's hard to generalize, but yes, I think that you will see in the next years, and we're in 2019, and 2019 has already been a boom.
Yeah.
And I think in the next few years, you're going to see a lot more podcasts coming around where people find this as a way to reach out and try and have conversations with people out there in the world.
Yeah. I think it's a great way to do that. And I enjoy all the conversations I have doing this. It is a nice medium as far as like, I think we talked earlier at some point about how people are tired of staring at their phones, and it's like, yeah, you want to watch YouTube videos, you want to watch people's Instagrams and stuff, and it's like, yeah, but you gotta have your eyes trained on its thing. And it's nice to just be able to like go about your business. Maybe you're cooking some food, or like cooking some like food that's really good or something, or like maybe some less good food, but like either way, you're probably cooking some food because it's delicious. Yeah, food is good. And like you can listen to some podcasts during that, and it's a good thing to do.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
could do other things too. Like I don't know, go fucking climb a ladder or something.
I mean, when I cook food, I play records.
Oh yeah.
That-
Well, all right. Well,
That was very hipster of me to point
yeah,
that
you're
out.
like, oh, I'm so you're being a hipster. You're like, oh,
I also listen
this
to
is what I
podcasts.
do, but I also yeah, that's right. You're like, I produce podcasts. I don't listen to them though. I only listen to records.
I get to listen to so many podcasts just because I make so many podcasts.
Oh
Or
yeah,
I'm involved in so many podcasts.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm functionally subscribed to like 4 podcasts
that's right.
a week.
Hey, I totally understand what you're saying. I get done with a tour and I'm like, friends hit me up and they're like, hey, Intruder Green, you want to go to this show at blah, blah, blah? And I'm like, fuck no. I just saw 20 shows in 15 days. I don't even want to listen to punk rock anymore right now. Which is not true. I always love punk rock because I'm Intruder Green, and that's pretty much the only music I ever listened to ever. Right?
He just
All
gave me
right.
a thumbs up, by
That's
the way,
right.
listeners.
Yeah.
As though like
That was a visual cue that we're not talking about.
oh, right. Sorry.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anyway. So that's great. You got hooked up to this weed podcast because you had a mutual interest in it.
Oh yeah. I talked to him. I said we should do a podcast. We started doing the podcast. Joe and I have produced over 50 episodes of the Brave New Weed podcast now over the past 2 years.
Nice.
We just started doing it and we didn't stop. And I think that that's the most important part is if you're going to do this, you keep your promise to your listeners.
It seems that way, like you get people. You guys have a Patreon and stuff for that, or
Yeah. Everything is just Brave New Weed, patreon.com/Brave New Weed.
Yeah, and you make some money for the podcast that way, and it's really important. It's an interesting new thing. It's funny how new Patreon is, or like that whole idea of people just buying a product and not having to have. I mean, I guess I don't want to say there's no middleman because Patreon is the middleman, right?
It is, yeah.
But at the same time, it's like,
I mean, it's the better middleman,
right?
Out of other choices that are out there,
right? You could have sponsorships and stuff like that, but then they want to fucking put their hand in like the production of the show sometimes and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's yeah, and you don't want to get into a thing where it's like, with the Brave New Weed podcast, we're very particular about who we allow to advertise on the show.
Oh yeah.
So like we vet these companies, we find out who it is that's trying to just pay us. Because if somebody comes along and is like, here, I'll give you this much money, you just talk about my brand.
Right.
Then it's like, all right, but who are you and why?
Yeah, right.
Like why do we care about this thing?
I mean,
so it's about,
if I was in that position, I'd be like, all right, I'll talk about your brand, but I'm gonna I'm going to actually talk about what I think about your brand, and it might not be so good, but you better give me that fucking money.
And that's fine. But if somebody, if somebody's like, here, I'll give you this much money, just talk about my brand, tell people where they can buy it, and you don't test it, and you don't know what's going on with them, and you don't know if they're legitimate or not, and it's just a new cannabis company on the market that's just hitting you up, I think you can get yourself in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I believe it to be true.
We always check people out, and we're like, well, we don't want to take money. We want to give people good information.
That's right.
So we don't allow advertisers on our show of things that we don't agree with or things that we don't believe in.
And believe me when I say that's one of the things I love about the Brave New Weed podcast is that I listen to it and I'm always like, these guys are really behind what they're putting out there. And it's an important thing because it's such a new industry and it's sort of a life-changing industry or a world-changing industry, really.
Thanks for listening to the Intruder Green podcast. By now you probably heard about our sponsor, Stupid Rad Merch Company. And if you haven't, then listen up, because I gotta tell you, Stupid Rad Merch Company is a great web store with a bunch of your favorite bands at stupidradmerch.com. And if you're in a band and need some work done, they can get you totally covered for a modest price and super quick turnaround time. But don't just take it from me. Here's what the ladies from Bad Cop had to say about it.
Comes up with great ideas. It's always pushing, always moving.
Simeon is delightful to work with. He's very responsive and professional, and
it's the quality of the shirts. I like them.
Yeah, high quality.
Very well done. Very well done on the ink. It really feels like a family again. It feels like it's a place where you can trust what's happening.
And don't forget to use the code PRISON at checkout and get a 15% discount on all Stupid Rad branded apparel. That's PRISON, I think. I don't really know how to spell, but those are the letters they told me to say. StupidRadMerch.com.
StupidRadMerch.com.
Well, it's easy to get sucked in. It's easy to be fooled. Right. So right now, like CBD companies have become the new like Avon.
Oh yeah, and I wanted to ask you about that too, like the difference between CBD and THC. I know you've probably gone on and on about it before, but like,
no, it's all right.
We got a different audience here who might not know that much about it.
No, absolutely. So what do you want to know? The difference between THC and CBD?
Just generally, and like what I guess maybe talk about that, and then what people are offering in. Like how legalization goes for either one.
Okay. So inside the cannabis plant, there are more than 400 cannabinoids. These are chemicals that exist inside of them. The most prominent and popular of these are THC and CBD. And there are many variants. You have THCA, you have CBDN. There's these chemical compounds, right?
Sure.
THC is the chemical compound that is familiar to all of us because it's what gets you high in that psychological sense.
Sure.
Okay. CBD is in a way counter to this because they use the same receptor cells on your cells to bind. The CBD chemical is a faster binder and has a more rigid grip. So in the presence of both THC and CBD, what happens is the THC enters your system and it wakens your receptor cells. They smell it in your system and they open up because they're like, hey, I know what this is and I want.
Yeah.
And then if there's a lot of CBD present, the CBD is a faster binder. So it's sort of like, imagine two cars are going to the same garage.
Yeah.
And somebody opens the garage, right? The THC is slower to get to the garage door than the CBD is.
Yeah.
CBD gets in, THC can't.
CBD is like, haha.
It works like a regulator.
Sucker. Yeah.
Right. So there have been numerous studies that can talk about the benefits of CBD in your system. It's anti-inflammatory. It helps with anxiety. It helps with stress.
Yeah.
Some people, it can help them to be more alert. Other people, it can help them go to sleep.
And people use it as oil.
There are many ways that you can do it. You can
it's not just about smoking weed, though. It's like
it's not just
you
about
can do all
smoking
sorts
weed,
of stuff.
right? So any of these chemicals, THC, CBD, any of these things from the cannabis plant can be individually extracted from the plant, and then put out into the market, right? This is how you get THC oils that you can vape from a pen, or shatter, or any of these sorts of things. They are distillates of the plant in some way or another.
Yeah.
So when it comes to the chemical removal of CBD, you don't necessarily have to have high quality or high THC balanced plants like marijuana plants. You can use hemp.
Oh,
because
I didn't know there was a difference. They're both green, right?
They are both.
All right.
There are historically, I guess, 6 variants of cannabis, right? And I'm not going to be able to do it all.
Oh, that's okay. I don't think anyone would remember 6 whole variants.
At one point I knew it, but
yeah, I don't think anybody's going to blame you for it.
It's like ruderalis and sativa and indica and hemp. And, but they ranged from higher concentrations of THC, lower concentrations of CBD. And these are impacted in ways of, originally speaking, climate, right? Like
sure, yeah, that makes sense.
Indica dominant plants.
It's just like growing grapes.
No, you're 100% correct.
Is it the same thing where if you want to have them on a mountainside so they collect more like minerals and stuff?
Can be. Depends on the mountainside.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the terra is a thing that people talk about in the cannabis world now. Like you can have how the ground is prepared, they're finding out that in certain insecticides and pesticides stay in the ground and can be found in cannabis plants after like 3 generations of plants. So like the chemicals that we've sprayed on other crops are actually infesting cannabis in place.
So whatever you do, people listening, if you find some weed, don't smoke it. Give it to me, Intruder Green, and I will dispose of it properly because it probably got some pesticides in there, and you don't want to smoke those pesticides. I'll let you know when it's, I'll do some testing and let you know when it's okay to smoke or eat or put in the oil. Yeah.
What was the other? Oh, yeah, the ways that you can have CBD.
Yeah.
So CBD is a chemical. It can be extracted from the plant. It can be extracted from the industrial hemp plant. just because it's present. It's not high density in these plants, but it's present, so you can extract it. It just takes a lot.
Oh yeah.
So depending on how it's done, like if they're using just the stalks and the roots, or if they're using the entirety of the plant, or if the plants are grown specifically to produce, flower, because only the female plants produce a flower.
Oh yeah.
So if all of these variants, like, are you intentionally doing this to have high CBD, or is this just something that's been bred for making cloth or paper or whatever? It impacts what goes on. Well, any good business is going to say that, like, even the worst of the worst, like these just hemp plants that you can grow anywhere, industrialized for fabrics and fiber,
Yeah.
we'll take that and we'll extract CBD from it. And
Sure.
then, okay, so you can do that, and you can slam it into a gummy bear, and you can sell it as a CBD gummy
Oh
bear.
yeah. But
But
those
that
are
doesn't
like the
necessarily
shitty
mean-
companies that are just like pushing it because it's a new fad.
Well, and it in a way, it's really clever because you're using waste product, right?
Yeah.
Something that would not be usable in
I
any
get
other
that.
way.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's deceiving when you are talking about a medicine that can actually do good for some people.
Yeah.
As long as it is administered the right way and understood the right way, and
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. And that's something I'm a big I don't know what to call it, an anti-fan of, a hater of. I don't want to be a hater, but like I guess I get a little bit of hatefulness for when somebody tries to bullshit their way into stuff like that. I don't know. I kind of see it similar to like reusable and recycling stuff. That's a whole different fucking story though. Uh, yeah. Trust
lost
me.
me. You
Trust
lost
me,
me.
there's something there. We'll get into it later.
Okay.
But yeah, I can see that as an important thing, and I hope that in the future people learn to a do weed on a decent basis, but they're not over. Well, you don't really OD on weed, but you can like definitely have too much. And that's always been the thing. It's always like, especially in America, what? But we're like, oh, you can't drink till you're 21, and then everybody turns. They do it before they're 21, and they're like, I'm gonna get wasted.
We need to reframe the question.
Yeah,
It's not. You shouldn't stop to have to ask yourself if you have already done too much. You should be able to stop and think to yourself, well, if I haven't done enough, I can always do more. But give yourself that time to stop and actually feel how you feel, and give it a minute. Like it's not like it's not nothing pays off immediately. 10 minutes later, if you're like, yep, I feel like I could have a little bit more, then have a little bit more.
Yeah.
And that's fine. But don't just go straight to your toes and then not know how to go in reverse. Because there is no reverse, right?
Yeah, right. And it's not a competition,
right?
Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, I don't know. I don't know how to phrase that, because I'm like, if it was a competition, that'd be a fun competition or a terrifying competition. But either way, it'd be a competition, and I'd be into it. Anyway,
I don't like thinking about it like a contest.
No, it shouldn't be thought about as a contest, but that's like the whole saying about like drinking is like in the States, that's a big thing. It's like, oh, it's basically a contest, especially when you're younger, because you're like, you can't let your friends drink more than you because then you're like lame or whatever, or some like un-PC term that everybody used to call each other starting with a P. Something like that. I don't know.
Huh.
Do you want to, I don't know how much time we got left, but do you want to play a few Would You Rather rounds?
Yeah, sure.
All right. I feel like we've got
oh man,
more
now
than
I
a
really
full
wish I had
episode.
another beer for this.
Oh shit.
Mm-mm. Go ahead, hit me, man.
We'll just do a couple then, because I'm pretty sure we're like over time anyway.
I'm sure it's fine.
I'll just go. Would you rather the aliens that make first contact be robotic or organic? Ooh, That's a whimsical one.
I would rather they be organic
Really?
because if they're robotic, my brain would default to the idea that there was something else organic out there that sent the robotic.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that side sort of means two things, and if it's just like smart people, okay, maybe we deal.
Right. But it could be a bomb or
Sure.
something.
Of course.
You know, like that's where my mind goes. It's like, why don't you come to meet me yourself? It's kind of like going to a job interview. It's like, are you gonna show
Yeah, so
are
the
you gonna-
robots are worse. Like if robots show up,
Yeah.
it's worse.
Yeah. It's like, are you just gonna do a call in or are you gonna fucking show up in person?
Right.
And if you don't show up in person, then I'm kind of like, I don't know. I don't know about this guy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree
Exactly.
with that completely.
Exactly.
Also, though, I would be kind of stoked if it was a robot because I'm real good at breaking things
Yeah.
like cell phones and computers and
Get it.
windows and stuff. And I'm
You
like,
think you can break a robot?
if it's
pretty good?
if it's robotic in any way, I seem to be pretty good at breaking it. So I'm like, these guys ain't got a chance. Look at this fucking robot.
Just
You
go
set
in
a
and-
robot down. Come on, come and take me on like an alien or something.
You go and immediately try and download Pokemon on it.
Yeah, that's right. Or maybe upload Pokemon on it so it gets all distracted and it's like, there's the fucking yegg for, I don't know, Yakabooman or whatever. I don't know. I don't want the fucking thing. What the hell those things are called?
I don't either.
Seems like a cool game though. I would like to actually play that
Nope.
sometime. I bet they got a lot of good Pokemons in Germany. They're all
Man,
like
so-
Liechtensteiner egg or whatever. That one's lame. Would you rather have a golden voice or a silver tongue? That's also a deep one. Oh,
no.
it's deep. We're getting deep, Matthew.
That's easy for me. I'd rather have a silver tongue.
Oh, really?
I don't
Because
need
you
it.
already have the golden
Oh,
voice.
yeah, I don't need a golden
Yeah,
voice.
that's right.
I'm just fine with my voice.
Uh,
I want a silver tongue.
silver tongue meaning you could talk anybody into anything, right?
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah.
I'll take
But
it.
a golden voice meaning like you can sing like a fucking angel.
Yeah. Who needs that?
I mean, there's definitely more money into talking people into what you want than there is the. That's why
That's why I do a podcast and not a vlogcast.
Well, that's why artists don't make no fucking money, right? I mean, relatively speaking, you talk
I'm not
about
sure.
people. You talk about people who got a silver tongue. They can't fucking sing. If they could, they'd be fucking singing and they'd be having a good time
Oh, you're
because
getting all-
singing is fun.
You're getting all metaphorical. I see it.
No, not even. This isn't even metaphorical.
No, I got you.
This is just the real deal. It's like if you got a fucking golden voice, you're a good singer. Of course, you're gonna sing and it's gonna be beautiful, but nobody's gonna fucking pay you for that.
Mm.
You still gotta hustle.
Mhm.
Like you might be able to make money with it if you become like a big rock star, or like maybe you get a job with the opera. I think that's a thing. I don't know.
Maybe you win Eurovision.
Yeah, maybe you win exactly. Eurovision. You guys did a whole stint on that.
Yeah.
But it's like if you're a silver tongue dude, then you gotta fucking that's all you need. You just be like, oh, hey, I don't think I should pay for this because the thing is I don't want to, and here's why that's important to you. And then they'll be like, oh yeah, it's a good idea. You shouldn't pay for that. I agree.
It's the
And then you start a cult, and then you
It's
got
that Jedi
like
mind trick.
concubines and stuff, and it's real gross. Yeah.
Well, maybe not take it that far.
Yeah, I hope you don't, but like
Well,
you could. That's the problem with the world, though. That is like too many silver tongues, not enough golden voices.
That's the problem with the world. Okay.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Everybody's too concentrated on the wrong shit.
Mm.
All right. I think we learned a lesson today, Matthew.
Did we?
I mean, I didn't learn shit, but I feel like somebody might glean a fucking fragment of knowledge from this whole interview.
Oh, well, that'll be good. I hope that is true.
Yeah, I think I think it could. But anyway, I think we're about ready to wrap this up. I think we've been trailing on a long time here, and we can do it. But I want to know about like what your socials are and what you can put out there. Where are you? Where the world can find you?
Oh, well, if you're interested in anything about Brave New Weed, all of that is just at Brave New Weed. You can go to bravenewweed.com to find all the regular links. That's easy enough to remember. Like all the Facebook, Instagram, everything. Brave New Weed. Easy. My personal I'll take a shot at that project is just at shot at that everywhere, or / shot at that, or shotatthat.com. It's kind of all dumb, easy to find. So just go looking for us and we're there.
And you got Patreons going for both of those, right?
Patreon.com/bravenewweed, patreon.com/shot at that. Again, the same phrase for everything. Just punch it in and you'll find it.
Yeah. That stuff's important because it helps fund the whole project.
It is
people are, it's like there's so much free media out there these days, but people are like, oh, I just want it to be free forever. Well, it's not free. People are putting their fucking blood and sweating into that. And, they're hoping that you're going to be interested enough to throw them a fucking bone. Why don't you? Yeah.
That's one way to say it.
That's just the way I like to put it. But anyway, so that's your stuff. And I appreciate that. Thank you for being on the podcast, Matthew.
Oh, man. Thank you so very much, Green. It's been a pleasure.
We should probably do it again sometime. Maybe we will.
Yeah, after the tour, maybe we talk about how it all turns out.
Oh, yeah, that'd be cool. And maybe I can be on I'll take a shot at that podcast again. I like that booze we drank.
Oh, the fiery ball.
Yeah, that's
wine
good stuff. You guys
really
have stuff like that every time?
Yeah, it's a little bit different every time. We try and come up with something unique, but I think we'll try and find some more things like that for sure.
All right, yeah, let's do it.
Awesome.
Excellent. All right. Well, I guess I will probably see you soon as we get ready for the upcoming tour. And have a good night.
And that's it for the Intruder Green podcast this week. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you, Matthew Hendershot, for being on it and helping me out all the time with, figuring out how computers work and the internet and stuff. Again, if you want to be a patron of the podcast, get on to patreon.com/Intruder Green. Hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all that, at Intruder Green. The call-in number is 608-535-9608. The Intruder Green podcast is produced by Colin Bennett, hair and makeup by Genevieve Smith, set design by Dylan Raymer, catering by Matthew Hendershot, lighting by Squeak Lights, Rahway, New Jersey. Our theme song is Particles by Typebro. Excelsior!
You think cops listen to podcasts?
Maybe
they don't give a shit.
Maybe
they're like, who's this Intruder Green, sir?
They already know who you are.
That's right. Well, no, I wear the mask so they don't know who I am.
Right, but but you also wear the mask on your podcast.
Yeah, but I'm Intruder Green.
Yeah, but you're always
yeah,
dude.
It makes sense.
You're not like inconspicuous. Not.
What do you mean? I'm inconspicuous. I wear a mask. That's the way it works.
But when you're out,
have you ever seen like a play in like Broadway? You're from New York.
Yeah.
You've seen Broadway.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of Broadway.
They put on a mask. Nobody knows who they are.
Right.
Different person.
But if the person that you're looking for wears a mask,
yeah,
and you're the only person wearing a mask,
then you just go down to Broadway and you fucking lose them. Everybody's wearing a mask.
That makes
genius.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's right.
Woo!